We are amidst some very turbulent and dangerous times in the markets, and our ARQ algos have helped with identifying foul play. I believe that I have located a potential floor, but it's going to require a true test of tolerance. Welcome back to the channel on this happy Monday. This is ARCa, and let's dive into ticker symbol FNGR. Let's kill 'em, team. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. Let's go ahead and pull up the charts for FNGR. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the ARQ algos. Okay, so this is going to be the composure algorithm that the community often asks me about, and regarding the manipulation in the chart, right? So whenever you do see these X's on the chart, and particularly from the algo itself, this is composure here, right? You tend to get these sell-offs. Now, the manipulation can actually work for an upside and for a downside, right? So usually what tends to happen is you get a manipulation signal, right? You get that upside pump, and then you get that sell-off. That's not always the case, though, right? Sometimes you do get that signal, and then you get immediate sell-off, right? Just like these here. Now, what's curious here is that I don't know if they were trying to slow down the rate of loss here, right, by doing these 5 blows of manipulation all throughout today on the minute chart. So, I was very specific to the live community where we were, going over this ticker in the, today in the morning while market opened. I was specific about holding a 4-hour candle into the end of the day, right above the target of $5.38. As you can see here, we actually we were not able to maintain it to the close of day. So in fact, it actually faked out and continued to the upside to reach that 538 after hours, which is not valid. That would be a 4-hour period during, intraday, not in the post market. Okay, so we were not able to get it. So which means that my personal position was not going to be open today if we didn't confirm closing a 4-hour candle upside of that $5.38 zone. So now it's looking like there may be some pressure for a downside continuation. Okay, so I want to share with you a couple things regarding that. Okay, so now this particular iteration here, this one's a very interesting one because this is the one that led price action from a 62-cent bottom to a $9.80 top, marking off about what was it? I mean, that was a huge that was around 1,400% jump to the upside, right? So what I'm noticing here is that this iteration itself, right? These are the quad witching tests, right, on the daily. So this right here was the quad witching Friday, September 9th. It was red, right? So now the Monday coming up was red too. And now this actually dropped for about 10 days before it actually recovered. Now the drop from, let's see, is this Friday right here? You know what? I guess I can probably do it from right here on Monday. So yeah, from Monday to the very low, looks like we dropped around almost 19%, right? So now know that this is only one of one iterations, right? But I was kind of doing that to the price action today. So this is Monday here, right? This is today. And if I were to kind of drop this into, let's see, that almost 19%, which could be here, then we're led to a target of around 484. So there's a lot that's kind of circling around that area there. Okay, so I want you to kind of keep your mind open here within the 484 target. Sure, what I'm speaking of here is around maybe, I would say from like 430 to around 484, right in between that area there. Let's go ahead and go over the chart so you can see what I mean. Okay, so this is a 12-hour Gaussian band, or the Gaussian channels. As you can see here, we have converted into resistance on the 12-hour time frame. This is your EMA 7. This is your EMA 55. SMA 100, this is your EMA 21, this is your SMA 10. In other words, you have all the major moving averages above us acting as resistance. And as you can see here, the resistance that we faced today at that EMA 7 12-hour was 538, right? And then we actually continue to the downside. Now, If we are to test the bottom side of the Gaussian bands here, then that takes us to a target of around $4.60. Okay, so that's the first rhyme that we're getting within these that we're getting within the decline that we faced from this one iteration back here, where we jumped from 60 cents to that $9 target, right? So now let's go ahead and continue the analysis here. All right, so now pulling up the this is my personal ALCa, right? This is the substance indicator, which adjusts supports and resistance levels starting from the 4-hour or 30-minute all the way up to the monthly. So you can actually see right over here that we have the daily support right at 480. So this algo is giving us that bottom side already, right? And of course, it rhymes very well with the 480, specifically talking about this this target here, right? So minus almost 19%, 484, right? So that's yet again rhyming. Okay, let's go to the next chart here. Now this is probably the most important one. Now I know I've talked to you about this ascending channel, and this would be the but this is a bullish buy formation breakout, right? So if you don't remember, or if you don't recall, or if you don't watch my channel often, then you wouldn't know how much I respect breaking out of a key resistance and then coming back to test it as a newly converted resistance into support. So what's curious here is that the target that we're on our way. This biweekly candle still has 3 days and 18 hours to close, so still kind of a ways away, right? So if we were to come all the way back down here, that is leading to around $4.68, right at the support. Breaking out of this thing, coming back down, validating it, and then continuing on. But we already had speculated the fact that we may have already finished the validation process, but it's clear that we haven't. Okay, so now know for a fact that this is just a temporary area that I'm looking for. I'm not saying that we're going to capitulate. I'm not saying that we're going to go up to the moon here. I am saying that we have to observe what price does when we do arrive within that area there, within 430 to around 480. Right, let's move on to the next chart and see what we have here. Okay, as far as this chart is concerned, I don't think I have anything to say about that one. And yeah, this is the weekly quad witching back test that shows that there is some pretty nice upsides following into the week or the following week of the contract expiries, right? So upon expiration, just sometimes right away on the Monday afterward, or sometimes just a few days or even up to a week or two, we get a huge recovery to the upside. Right, so I back tested this, and it looks like it's still kind of it's still in the resolution of that. A very curious fact here, though, is that on the biweekly chart, we have a biweekly silver cross, and it's happening right now. It just happened, and I'm talking about today. Right, so I'm curious to see what price action is going to do when we do reach some of those lower targets that we're speaking of. Right. So I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this, but this has an upside pivot on the EMA 55 and an upside pivot on the EMA 21, which would in essence tell us that this is a very bullish crossover. Of course, price action is declining, right? But I still have something else to share with you. Whoa, pardon me. I still have something else to share with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and you know what? I think I'm going to use. Yeah, you know what? I'll use the manipulation chart. So let me get rid of this, and we're going to go ahead and open up the regular candles, and then let's go ahead and open up the 12-hour time frame. Okay. So I want you to take a look at this, right? So this is that first run, right? We got from around $2, $2.55 to 280. We got that first run, right? We're going and going and going, and remember that this was July 11th, right? This happened just not too long ago, right? So we made our trek all the way up to around $7.16, right? And then I said I was talking to everybody here, pullback. We're gonna get a pullback here, so it's an opportunity. Let's go ahead and get long this asset upon the floor. right? So this thing kept on going further down and further down and further down, and ARCa is getting hated on, throwing tomatoes and all that good stuff, right? So, so then just to remind you, right? I called out bear trap here, 385. So price action ended up coming down to 381, and then huge recovery from 381 all the way up to $6 and $6.19, 620, whatever that was, right? So 618 high. So it started happening again, right? We started diminishing and declining all this price action all the way the hell down here. So then ARCa comes in again, right here. Everybody's throwing tomato, throwing rocks at ARCa, saying, "Why are you calling pullback? You're a shill, right?" Right. So then I said, 385 again. We're gonna hit it, 385, right? So price action comes back down, 396, and then we launch all the way to the moon, all the way to I think was on smaller time frames. It looks like it went beyond the 797. I think it even hit, let me see. Yeah, no, 797 must have been just that top side there, right? So, all right, fair enough. Yeah, so we ended up going all the way up to that, just about an $8 target, right? And now the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I want you to compare. I want you to compare what's going on here. I'm not trying to keep you bullish, and I'm also not trying to make you bearish, but I want to shed light over what could be happening, right? So this was the first this is that first drop, where everybody was hating me, and then I called in that bear trap at 385, right? So that downside here, let's just go ahead and measure that. So we have about a minus 46.76% decline, and now this one here from this top side around that 620 cent zone, that was marking up about almost a 36% decline. So now if we're able to measure from where we are now, please go ahead and notice that the price action is currently sitting at a decline of about 34.85%. So you can see that it's well within this zone here, which now brings me to my next point. Okay, so let me go ahead and find that drawing and find the it's not this one here. I'll go ahead and point it out. Just a sec, team, just a sec. I just want to make sure that we can have everything lined up here for us. And if we don't have it here, then I'm going to go ahead and draw something else, right? So yeah, this was the temporary drop that we were waiting for, right, because of a breakout from the triangle. But fair enough, it's all good. Let's go ahead and just do it here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this formation, this one here, and we're just going to draw it in. Okay, make sure that it is on log, and let's see if we can pull up the 12-hour time frame so we can remove some grain from the from the candles here. So let's go ahead and start connecting some dots here. And I want to show you something, because there is a possibility that we are essentially making this happen here. So yeah, what you're looking at here is actually an ascending channel, right? So on the 12-hour time frame. And it looks like this could have been X for what? I am speaking about an ABCD pattern. Okay, that's X. This would be A. This down here would be B. Then we would have C again right over here, right? And then we would drop to finalize the play at D, right? So this is called an ABCD strategy. So now if we are to focus on the downside here, then that I guess I'm saying that we still have a drop to look at that can lead all the way up to, guess where? $4.30, which is why I'm telling you that we have to keep an eye on the targets of around 430 all the way up to 480. Okay, so if that's the case, then this could be that potential floor that I'm speaking of, right? So now, if we are facing downside here, well, we need an RSI to validate that for us. I'm going to pull this chart back here so that we don't forget it. Right, I'm going to put it right there. So now let's go to the RSI. Here we go. Check this out. 30-minute time frame is now crossing beneath the SMA 14, and it's in the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile. Highly likely for it to go down here, right? It's going to get sucked in. Now, that is likely going to start affecting the downside here for the bi-hourly time frame, because this is crossing negative, right? Sorry if you can hear my little guy, team. He's probably going to come in here and co-host with me, right? Okay, so anyway, Yes, and now this is the RSI signal is diverting ever so slightly from the gravitational zone here. But if it did get an upside move, it would just validate and resist from the SMA 14 and the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile. So now, kind of giving validity to this downside here is the 4-hour time frame. Take a look at this. It is in the gravitational zone, and this is likely to get pulled to the downside even more, right? So now you can argue here that yeah, these can face an upside here, but you can see that they both, right, this one here and this one here, they both are rejected from these gravitational zones. They didn't actually move up. Right, so you can see here, gravitational zone tried to make its way out, failed, got pulled down. It actually started trying to get the gravitational zone here for an upside, got pulled down, and now we're sitting in this opposing side gravitational zone. I don't give it that much credibility. Same situation here. Bounced off of that gravitational zone, got pulled into it, right? Bounced off of the gravitational zone here, got pulled from the 50%. And yet again, we're sitting in this gravitational zone that can lead to an upside, but it does have resistance from the opposing side's gravitational zone, so we would get pulled down again. Okay, now, yes, so we can see the bi-daily here definitely crossing beneath the SMA 14 in the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile. Similar situation here on the daily time frame too, right? So this is bi-daily and this is the daily. So the daily is actually faced, straight to the downside here and approaching the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile. Now, to find the support, I had to move the RSI all the way up to the bi-weekly time frame. And this is the bi-weekly time frame that's telling us that we have a support coming up right at about that SMA 14. It's a little bit of a dangerous zone, because this is essentially saying that we would find support from a gravitational zone. This gravitational zone would actually have us be pulled down. So that means that we may actually, if this is a possibility, then there is a chance here that we can face this too. Okay, be very careful. We fail the SMA 14, bounce from the gravitational zone here, we move up and use the gravitational zone from the SMA 14, and it continues to the downside. Right, so that's one probability, which, to be honest, could be a pretty strong probability, okay? Now, the next thing is it depends on how strong all of the other time frames are starting to recover with an upside pivot. And if they do recover, then this would mean that we would drop into here, right, and then essentially recover entirely. We would bounce from that gravitational zone, succeed the upside of the SMA 14, and continue onwards and upwards. So it's a little bit of a challenge to see what can be happening here, but know that this channel is becoming very real to me. Okay, so this may actually be that position to where we can ride an ABCD structure. Okay, so in this case, we would be waiting for the expansion phase to start on volatility from the very bottom side here of around 430, 440. Okay, so we can do that with BBWP for a linear representation of volatility, right? So in this case, we're increasing volatility, and let me go ahead and pull up stochastic momentum to tell us what bias it has for direction. We're increasing volatility with a downside pivot. Okay, so that is telling me that, yeah, we're on our way down here, potentially touch those targets of around $4.30 before a bounce. So, and I think that bounce can happen as soon as we start contracting here, right? So when that happens, I think that it would be okay to potentially open long at around 430. And another little hint here is that, sure, there is a potential here that I, even myself, right, I think we could consider potentially getting maybe hedging against our longs and opening some puts, maybe around 540 to around 561. So let me go ahead and mark that down there. 540, right? Just like this. Hold on. To 561. Right? We can open some put options here, right? And then ride this thing to the downside. Remember that I am speaking about paper trading. Right, so go ahead and click on the link below to get yourself a TradingView account, as it will help my trading future out if you did so. Okay, team. So yeah, there is a possibility here that we can actually reach an upside first, a tiny upside first, before a continuation to the downside, and that would be likely due to the SMA 200 located at about $5.54 before a drop. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and observe that. That may very well happen during the early pre-market, but we can always observe. Right, team. So yeah, I feel like we need to keep our eyes peeled. Make sure to come by in the mornings. I am streaming in the AMs for market open, right? So go ahead and come by and say hello to the team. I am in Pacific time, by the way. So if you're observing my time down here, this is 7:20 p.m. Pacific. All right, you guys. So please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything would be absolutely cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good rest of your night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios. Yeah.